Hello guys, YGO Stratz here with another deck profile. Today we're doing Heraldics on the newest format. First of all, we're going to talk about the main deck. The main deck has 3 Leos. Leo's 2000 beater. You can normal summon him in the most dire of situations, but in the main way you'll play him, you're going to send him to the graveyard using his effect. This is the dragon of the deck. The dragon of the deck says that you can discard one Heraldic Beast and special summon it from your hand. Why this synergizes with Leo? When Leo is sent to the graveyard by any means, you add another Heraldic Beast to your hand. And, of course, this thing also has a second effect. If it's already on the field, you can send a Heraldic Beast to give it 800 attack, so it becomes a 2500 beater. Another dire situation, another good way to get rid of a Leo. Next card we're going to look at is Aberconway. Aberconway is not the greatest card to draw into. You want to get him into the graveyard as quick as you can. When he is in the graveyard with another copy of himself, you can target one and remove it from play, and add any Heraldic Beast to your hand. So generally what you'll do with this is you'll add either the dragon or you'll add Leo. If you have a dragon in your hand, you add a Leo, you toss a Leo again to special summon it, add another one to your hand. It's a great way to get more Heraldic Beast and do a little bit of deck thinning. The next thing we can look at is the Unicorn. Unicorn is our light type monster, which is good because you can use it to run a Star Leech, if that's your preference. It's a little bit cheaper than Option to Castell. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And it also has the effect in the graveyard that if you banish it, you can target one Psychic type XYZ monster in your grave, and you can special summon it, but its effects on the field are negated. And Psychic type monsters in the XYZ format don't seem important, but the archetype specific for Heraldic Beasts are Psychic, so you can get our nice little Heraldic spam with him. The next thing we'll look at is the Eale. Eale is just a little tiny Heraldic Beast. He's another one you're going to want in the graveyard. And his effect is if you banish him from the graveyard, you can attach 2 material, Heraldic Beast specific, so it has to be 2 eagles, or an eagle and a Leo, etc. and so forth, to any XYZ that has no material on your field. The last card I run from the Heraldic Beast monster engine is Eale. And he's just a one-of, and essentially, if you have 2 Heraldic Beast monsters or more, you can special summon them from the hand. So you can potentially get, if you play your hand right, 2 XYZ 4 spams on the same turn. Next card I run, Photon Thrasher at 2. Photon Thrasher is just a 4 spam. If you don't control any monsters, you can special summon him, summon something. If you don't open with your dragon, or you open with a Leo, he's great to also have in your opening hand, because he turns a dead play into a play you can actually use. Which brings me to Kagetokage, which is the same deal. If you have a dead draw like a Leo, something you don't want to have in an opening hand, and you have him, you can just do a normal special combo, and you can still get your 4 spam. Now, moving on from the monsters, move on to our spells. First one is Advanced Heraldry Art at 3. And this states that we can target 2 Heraldic Beasts in our graveyard and special summon them to our side of the field. However, immediately after this effect resolves, it has to be XYZ'd with. So you automatically have to take 2 and you get a free 4 essentially. Next one, this is Monster Reborn for Heraldics. It's just target 1 Heraldic Beast monster in your graveyard and special summon it. This is great to use if you're already built up a graveyard and your hand is starting to thin out and all you can really do is normal summon. Next card I run 2 different types of Barian's Force. I run Rank Up Magic Barian's Force and Limiting Barian's Force. We'll start with the regular one. Barian's Force says you take one with the same type and you get a C or number C monster of 1 level up and you put it on top. It also has a little neat of a secondary effect. If your opponent has an XYZ monster, you must take one of its materials and attach it to your upgraded monster as well. So if you're running against a deck with XYZs and they have something like an Honor Arc, you could really mess with it by preventing it from using its first effect. Or if it only has one, you can absolutely prevent it from taking its destruction effect. Now, Limited Barian's Force is just, it doesn't have that little XYZ extra effect, and it also doesn't have the type specific. So if you have a level 4 Psychic, you don't need a level 5 Psychic to go into. It's used for 1 card in the extra deck that's quite important. It can also be used to bring out any other thing, and that's an upgrade. Standard, 3 MSTs, sorry. 3 MSTs, that's pretty standard. You want to be able to pop your opponent's back row. We have a Foolish Burial. That's to send a Leo. If you get this, you send a Leo, add a different Heraldic. It's a Searcher. We get a Rhoda, this is for our Photon Thrasher. If you draw, it can cause dead draws, but it can also cause big plays. So it's nice to run at 1. We have our standard Raigeki. Blow up your opponent's field. Pretty useful card in most decks nowadays. And double breakthrough. It's a standard tech trap. It negates your opponent's monster effect. Can be used once in the graveyard on your turn. Very useful card. We have double mirror force. Standard. If your opponent attacks, it destroys their field. Very useful. Then the one-ofs. We got 1 Bottomless to destroy a big monster if they're going off, and 1 Compulse. Okay. Now we move on to the extra deck. My extra deck contains, firstly, the number 18 Heraldry Patriarch. He is one of the big things you want to get out nice and early. His standard effect is to attach 1, and once per chain, if your opponent controls 2 of the same monster on their side of the field, you destroy 1, and they're no longer allowed to special or normal summon those monsters. We run him at 2. He's the archetype specific. He's the psychic that you'll be moving from with your Barian's Force. And we have a second psychic that I run at 1. Also, it's the Heraldic King Genome. What he says is, once per turn, if you control a face-up XY, your opponent controls a face-up XYZ, you take it, and you take its effects, its attack, and you reduce it to 0. So if they have an Honor Arc, for example, you reduce it, its effects are negated, you become Honor Arc that turn with 1 material. And you can actually use Honor Arc's effect if they try to Mirror Force you. This is my rank up. This is number C101, Silent Honor Dark. You put him on top of an Honor Arc, and he gets his effect, which if he's sent to the graveyard, he comes back with no materials, and you gain life points equal to his attack, 2,800. Great. He can also take 1 special summon monster your opponent controls and attach it to himself per turn. Then there's Crest of Horror. He's a 4,000 beater. He goes up from Barian's Force. And if your opponent declares an attack on him, or while he's on the field, you blow up both their spell and trap zone and their monster zone. Now, here's the one for limiting. He's C106 Giant Red Hand, and he just negates all effects on the field. Quite standard. Now, we run 2 Honor Arcs. They're really useful in this deck. It helps you get into your Honor Dark, and it's a card that's very annoying for your opponent, especially in a special summon-based format. We have Lavalal Chain for searching out things. It's a good way to send another Leo to the grave. We have the Lightning Chittery, which is great for getting rid of your opponent's set cards or pain in the butt face-up cards. Our Cowboy can be a win condition. You put it in defense, you do some life. Then some standard, Ragna Zero, great card, doesn't have the same attack, discard or detach, and you get a draw. King of Feral Imps gets Kagetokage out for you, and he can help you get extra force. He's also not a bad beater. We have a Star Liege Paladinamo. He's a nice card to have. He's like a low budget Castell, and you could run Castell, but you can use Advanced Heraldry Art with Unicorns and get him out just the same. And then Abyss Dweller. There's a lot of decks in this format that run in graveyards. You can prevent their effects. Now, just to talk about it, 2 cards you can run are Exciton and Castell. Exciton Knight and Castell, they're both expensive cards. They're a little bit higher budget, but both perfectly acceptable runs. One's a great nuke, and Castell here is a great Star Liege replacement. He's better than Star Liege because he doesn't have the light requirement. Okay, this has been Heraldic Beasts from YGO Stratz. See you next time.